Monkey D. Luffy. Never quits, never doubts, never loses. And if any of you guys agree with any of what I just said, we need to talk. Because these are the exact ideas that hustle culture has been selling you for years. And if you actually tried to live by them for a long time, we might be getting into a lot of trouble. You see, One Piece tackles hustle culture in ways we completely went over. So let's talk about it. Ever since I was a kid, Zoro was always my favorite One Piece character. I mean, don't get me wrong, Luffy is the GOAT, but he always looked so stupid compared to the likes of Zoro, who always grinded to get stronger. But beyond that, I could relate to Zoro. I too always wanted to be seen as the most powerful man in the room. But that was until I reached adulthood, because that's when I convinced myself that the only way to be seen as truly powerful in real life was through financial freedom. But the moment I quit my job, opened a business, and made some money, I lost it all. Now, before I explain what happened, let's talk about Luffy, shall we? Because throughout the show, it's not super often that we've seen him actively train to get stronger. But Oda did this strategically. He chose to focus almost entirely on Luffy's self-belief and his unabashed sense of freedom. From the moment he first jumped from the barrel without a care in the world, to punching a world noble in the face knowing full well the consequences, to declaring war on the world government in Eni's lobby, he was always freedom itself no matter what he had to hustle through. No plan, no rationality, just a delusional sense of confidence to move forward. But now the question is, would Luffy's way of life work in real life? I couldn't help but to contrast Luffy to how I handled things 3 years ago. I'd work 18 hours a day because I was afraid stopping meant losing time and money, and I'd change things every week in my business just because nothing was working out. I failed because every decision I've made came from fear. But when you think about it, a lot of the top 1% in society who do succeed share a lot of features to Luffy. Driven but carefree, connected but detached, fully committed but never desperate. So yeah, Luffy does have the qualities expected from a top 1%, but does that mean that we should be like Luffy? Well, it depends. Are you Luffy? This might sound silly, but in the core of who you are, can you practically answer this? What does freedom mean to you? Is it the removal of every potential obstacle? Is it about having the ability to be in the present moment? Or does it simply mean being free from all attachment? For Luffy, the closest freedom model that he follows is the third one, pursuing your goals endlessly but not being attached to any of it, which is a close resemblance to the Buddhistic model of freedom. But in real life, how do you achieve this level of freedom while hustling hard for your goals? How do you go about pursuing your goals endlessly without being attached to the outcome? This is the part where I was going to say, how do you find freedom in 3 steps? But as I was writing the script, I realized Luffy just wouldn't have an answer. Asking Luffy, how do you find freedom, is like asking a fish, how do you find water? The question itself assumes a gap. The moment you start hustling specifically to feel free, the hustle itself becomes another cage. You're working to escape working, you grind to eventually stop grinding, you chase a finish line that just keeps moving. None of it makes any sense. So instead, here are 3 ways to hustle hard without feeling attached. Number 1, act fast on your decisions. The most successful people in the world are the ones where the time between a thought and its execution is the smallest. When Luffy feels hungry, he eats ASAP. If he wants to stop at an island to save Nami, he stops at that island fast. If he wants to become the king of the pirates but doesn't have a boat or a crew, he gets a boat and a crew fast. person who moves imperfectly will always outrun the person who remains still. Number 2, treat life not like a problem to be solved, but an adventure to be experienced. The moment you treat an obstacle like a playground, it loses all its power over you. When I lost everything in my business, every setback felt like the end of the world. Every month felt like the universe telling me that I wasn't built for this. But that's exactly what we tend to think when we treat obstacles as problems. In an adventure, the obstacle is just the next part of the cycle. If we were to switch how we interpret it, suddenly the obstacle isn't the enemy anymore, it's now the whole point. Number 3, pursue your goals without outsourcing your identity to the outcome. Stick this to your thick skull. Winning does not make you a winner, and failing does not make you a failure. Luffy just watched Ace die in his arms. He failed to do the one mission that mattered most to him. And after all of it is done, Jinbei just sits across him and asks, "What do you still have?" And Luffy starts naming his crew. Not what he lost, but who he still is. Whether he gets the One Piece at the finish line or not, Luffy will always remain Luffy. Now at the end of the day, I still don't believe that there's an objective journey to find freedom, nor is there one best way about achieving your goals. Sometimes, it is the very desperation of the goal that lands you to success. I still remember pushing my homework to the very last minute, and somehow those were the best works I ever had. So maybe the point was never to be like Luffy. Maybe the point is just to notice if your goals in life actually comes from within you, and how much of it is based on fear camouflaging as ambition. Luffy never had to kill his hustle because he never had one to begin with. He's just had a tiny bit of direction and a complete irrational sense of trust that he was the only one who could ever get the One Piece.